2010, as you know, you've been here, Nick, in his nonprofit, the park, because of these East Coast people, they said, you get those cars off the beach, or we're not going to give you any more funding.
Gotta buy. I think I got a lot of stress on my mind. It's a nice day to go. Yeah, I gotta line. I'ma call the whole team.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Team Hard Life Captain Albert Sakuchi, and I'm here with Miss Janet Robertson.
Correct.
And she's going to inform us and bring us up to speed on a lot of information that the rest of us have been looking for and not getting all the answers, not getting the truth. I mean, basically, it's what it's boiling down to. They're only showing us what they want us to see over here, and then sleight of hand, they're doing this over here. So I'm giving you the floor. Anything you want to tell us will help us better understand where it started, where it's at, what they're trying to do. And a lot of this stuff, like the little bits that we have figured out, if you have enough common sense, you can see where it's going. But please, let us know. Yes.
Well, let's start right now. And the reason why I felt I needed to tell it in my own words, the story. I don't like to talk a lot. I'm more behind the scenes type person, but this has to get out for two reasons. Number one, beach access. Extremely important for the business, the fishermen, conservation, birders, etc. Number two, and a lot of people have negative feelings about this, that's fine, but I'm here to tell the story, is the sea turtle program at Penn's. It's extremely important. They both work hand in hand, and I'm going to tell you how and why it's important. Okay. Let's go back to 2010. There was two significant events that happened. Number one, in the back of your mind, Deepwater Horizon.
Yes, the
oil spill.
Yes.
The lady in charge, the chief of the Sea Turtle Science and Recovery Program, Dr. Donna Shaver, she's been in our community for 44 years. The park asked her for 5 years, come back from USGS and start this program for us so we can try to save this most endangered species on our planet, which is the Kemp's River.
Yes.
Its primary nesting is in Mexico. But the United States National Park Service, USGS, United States Geological Survey, and Mexico wanted to have a second nesting ground for the Kemp's River in case of catastrophic events, oil spills, hurricanes, regime change, government issues in Mexico. So this program was started for that. They had zero funds, and Park Service asked Donna, I'm going to say Donna from now on, everybody knows her as Donna, to come back to the Park Service. In 2003, a transfer agreement was reached between the park and Donna, and she had full division control over her program. Requirements was recover the species, build the program's budget from zero, which is all she's done today. Her colleagues, scientific colleagues on the East Coast, do not believe in her incubation program or leaving, let's just leave it at the incubation program, which is a program that Donna started for her research. We collect, volunteers collect the eggs, and employees do off the beach with help of fishermen, tourists, a lot of them.
Yes.
They call it in, and we take them to the incubation room. Their survival rate increases from 1 in 1,000 in a crowd to 1 in 400, making it a lot more sustainable, if you will.
Right, yep.
So, Donna, that was her program.
Well, just to kind of, from a fisherman's perspective, she nailed it. Like, with fishermen and tourists and everybody involved, like, and I'll be honest, like, a lot of people don't like the turtles. A lot of people don't like them. But again, too, they will pick up the phone and be like, hey, man, we got a turtle over here. Can you come deal with it? Like,
Absolutely.
you know, it real quick. So even though they don't like the turtles, they're still willing to protect them and do what is right. And so Donna has done a tremendous amount of work. And like you said, she started with zero.
$0.
So For
In
her
her
to take
funds,
it.
yes, they were zero at start, and I will go over this in a little bit.
All right, so the paperwork that she's going to be showing me on here, I'm going to be superimposing it on the video, guys, so y'all can see exactly what we're seeing. Because obviously me holding it up every couple of seconds is not going to be feasible, especially since one day I'll have a camera guy that can help me with this, but right now I don't, so I'm working with what I have. But yes, no, Donna has been she's a huge name down here for the turtle
Well,
rescue plan, I guess we can name it.
I'm going to tell you also why beach access is important to her and her program and how it works hand in hand. And I really would appreciate if the fishermen or your listeners would listen to this whole thing. It's extremely important. And I will, extremely, the next 5 years will tell. And I'll go into that later. So let's go back to 2010. Deepwater Horizon got it. On the side, Donna worked with other scientists on the Gulf Coast trying to have enough data to show research that Deepwater Horizon, what ecological impact they had on the not only land but marine habitat.
Yes.
So with that, a lawsuit was filed. It was BP admitted wrong. You know the rest of the story. Texas was supposed to get part of that for her program to help her recover the species. She received 5 years of early restoration money. The rest of it, she hasn't received yet. Let's go back to the other scientists on the East Coast, primarily Florida, who a lot of them sit as trustees on the Deepwater Horizon funds. So, they don't believe in incubation because they can't do it. If you've ever been to Florida Beach, I lived there 7 years. And about the only beach I could find, Daytona, I'm not too sure anymore, but St. Augustine, you could drive on a little stretch of it. The rest of it is closed to traffic. You have to walk over the dunes from a parking lot. So they've already pretty much ruined all the beaches out there. So they have these people, and I'm going to be a little, well anyway, I'll explain in my word. They have these people sitting on the back of the deck of their condo, drinking their martini or margarita, watching and, oh, there's a turtle coming up. They go out there and plant a flag in it, put a barrier around there, and that's their job. Watch that, count how many days. When it's time for them to come out of the nest, someone will come up and make sure they exit into the ocean. And it's a very inexpensive way to manage the program. You can't do that in Texas.
No, there's
Our
nobody-
beaches are open to driving. It's in the Texas Open Beaches Act. It's in the original deed, not the driving, but the visitor over conservation as opposed to conservation. And that's another can of worms.
So the other thing is too that has to be for those of y'all that aren't from the Corpus Christi area that have never been on Padre Island National Seashore. It's a national seashore. There's no condos. There's no homes. There's no human inhabitants other than when the Turtle Patrol are there in their designated work area. And
Which is the whole stretch of the beach.
but they don't have one little
Building lab.
building. The
Yes.
labs where they do their thing from the beach, and that's it. So they don't have people out there that can sit out there every day off the back deck and watch the beach and be able to notify anybody that there's turtles there. But even then, they don't do anything in Florida other than market for everybody else to kind of, watch out. But again, too, I've never heard of any kind of turtle program in Florida for shark fishermen and fishermen, like none of them ever talk about it. That you come to Corpus, you come to Texas,
Yeah.
hey, there's that turtle program. Like
Yeah.
everybody knows about it. When you come to Corpus, you learn about the turtle program within about an hour of being here. Like everybody, it's posted up everywhere. So that I'm kind of throwing the information out there from a third party
Sure.
kind of deal because a lot of these guys ain't gonna understand why that's so important to you to bring that up.
Uh-huh.
That's why right there. It's like, okay, they have people that are out there that can watch it. But again, too, are they really gonna sit there and watch them? Keep track of the days and and do all of that? Like, I wonder what their loss ratio, or they even have a number like that
Their
in comparison to ours.
hatchling ratio is less than what ours is here at the Park of Incubation.
Mm.
Also, there's corral down at the 40. You know that there's a turtle shack, and people do have the park has a corral there. And the ones from the 40 to the 60 are brought to that corral, the eggs are. And you still have to have people monitoring it to keep an eye on it, but it's in a fence, for lack of a better word, like chicken wire, fence
Yeah.
around it, where crabs, coyotes, pigs, raccoons, fire ants, all those things get to them.
Right.
So they're somewhat protected, but not totally protected. And they still have to release them by law. Once they start frenzy and hatching and come to the surface, you have to release those hatchlings. You have to. So anyway, let's get back to the
Yeah.
2010.
And real quick, guys, they do it every year. Every season, they have big deals where they go out and they release the hatchlings, where they invite the public to come out there, so you all can actually see, hey, if we turn in these turtles or help them find these turtles, you can go out there and see the babies getting released. And they encourage it too, because it also deters a lot of the wildlife from coming down and plucking out the turtles before they even have a chance to get to the beach. Whereas on a normal day, whenever they come out, there's nobody to protect them. They don't have their fighting chance of naturally being born, their chances are way low. Like we said, it was one in what, how many thousand?
In situ, it would be more than 1,000. But in a corral on the beach,
Yeah.
it would probably be, last statistics I heard, I would leave it at 1,000. But in a controlled environment like incubation or corral, it's more of a 1 in a 400. So their odds are a lot better. And that's what recovers the species.
Yes.
Now, once it ever gets to that sustainable limit, which I've read different things, that 10,000 eggs in one season, each turtle can lay up to 100, but some of them are less, some of them are a little bit more. And it takes 12 to 15 years for a baby turtle to mature to adulthood to even produce eggs. So their odds and the length of time it takes is extremely hard. Back in 2010, as you know, you've been here, and Nick, in his nonprofit, the park, because of these East Coast people, they said, you get those cars off the beach, or we're not going to give you any more funding. So the park filed for a NEPA study, which is National Environmental Protection Act, where you have, it's by law, you have to do a study to see the impact on beach driving on the turtles, the mortality. A FONSI, which is a finding of no significant impact, was created or suggested by the Park Service because there was no impact to driving, zero on the nest. So they said, and it's not, one second. Regarding closure of the beach, this option was dismissed for further analysis because it would reduce visitor access to much of the beach, which is not in accordance to the seashores enabling legislation. So in other words, in the original deed, if you stop people from accessing the park, there's a reverter clause. We could go back to the state of Texas. That's too full. I don't know if Texas wants it, if they want to fight it. So I say we all join forces, settle it here on our own turf, and try to get the park back down. So that was 2012. That was determined. In 2017, Donna, nobody knows this, she's had her finger in the dike working for you people to keep that beach open. But everybody looks at it differently. She's been keeping these East Coast folks off. In a 2017 article about Deepwater Horizon spill, she noticed that all of her recommendations for funding were disregarded for the state of Texas. And it's noted in here, beach survey program in Texas through training and coordination, reduce anthropogenic threats on the stretches of beach where the eggs could mate in situ. In other words, get the cars off the beach, leave the eggs in situ and make it like a wildlife refuge. When she saw that, she knew that East Coast was coming back after us. So in 2019, the former superintendent, Mark Scooter, he retired. Mr. Eric Bruneman came in and replaced him. He was acting superintendent October of 2019 and become official superintendent April the 26th of 2020. Less than 8 weeks, a little more than 7 weeks later, he came up. How, I don't know. I wouldn't even know anybody's name by then, 6 weeks. Never been at a seashore before. He came up with a review of the sea turtle program. And it specifically highlights ways that the park wants to have it done. In other words, it's preordained, pre-selected. The park, this is the route they're going.
Go ahead. I'm soaking in the information.
I know, it's confusing.
Well,
This review is available, and I sent you a copy of it, but I can send you the link and where you could look at it. But I guarantee it's 53 pages, and a lot of people aren't going to sit there and go through it.
no, but the concern pages are the ones that I need to be able to superimpose on here so people can see
And I highlighted it.
that's the thing is like you said, they do that. They put a godly amount of pages of mumbo jumbo basically throughout the whole thing, but within that fine print, this passage right here, this is what's going to take away our rights from being able to travel on the beach, and it's because we didn't have the time, or however you want to put it, but we didn't read the fine print, guys. And right now we
Need to raise holy hell with the park.
exactly, yes.
Oops.
So again, no, let's put them through some hell like we did with the desal program, guys.
And like back in 2010, y'all fought a tremendous battle, the park back down. That's what they need now.
Yes. So email information and all of that, we'll be posting that up here in just a bit, but I'm gonna let her continue because again, guys, without the timeline, without the knowledge, right now we only have part of the story. We don't have everything that's going involved, but I'm already seeing where the dots are starting to connect.
Right.
And if you ain't already seen them, guys, you need to really pay attention to what's being said here because me as a local, I've seen a lot of this. I mean, we still go to the beach now and we still find oil in the sand at certain depths and stuff like that. So, no, the environment is still being affected to this day. And if they haven't followed through with their second portion being the funding, it's because whoever them park board members of that Turtle Patrol that are on that deal are the ones that are helping
And I
monitor
can
that.
guarantee the comment was, "Oh, Donna, we told you, get the cars off the beach or you won't see any more funding," period. She has talked to them, "I can't do it, I don't want to, and even if I could, I can't. It's a constitutional amendment." It works for both sides. So her program protects the eggs, allows for beach access for driving. It works both ways. But now the park says, no, we don't want to fiddle with any of that anymore. We want to make it consistent, like with Cape Hatteras, Cape Cod, the other parks, where during nesting season, close it, shut it down.
I was in Cherry Point, North Carolina, and there was only a 3-month access to the beach. After you had to pay like $110 beach access permit. And mind you, it's only during the winter, the worst time to be on the beach. It was like, it was winter. All I remember is like 40 degrees outside, and I'm hard-headed. I want to go fishing. Like, I want to fish on the beach. Now I can fish on the beach. I can drive on the beach. So I'm from Texas. Like, let's go do it. And we're out there in 40-degree temperatures, fishing in the water, and like, I couldn't understand why the beaches weren't open all year round. Like, they were beautiful beaches, but you couldn't access them.
Right.
So now, 20-something years later, I know why. Wow.
It's a way to cut budget. It's a way to cut budget.
Okay.
So anyway, this review, and I highlighted 2 specific points for you and your followers. It is the playbook. It is the official playbook. If anybody's interested, has the time, doesn't have the time, you want me to explain it, I'd be happy. You can have Albert contact me. If you have a lawyer who wants to look at it, whoever. The two most significant points, they broke this down into a 10-year period. We're already in the fifth.
Wow.
It started in 2020, signed by regional office. The first 1 and 2 years, do nothing. The next year, from the 30 to the 60 is X, Y, and Z. The last 10th year, leave them in situ. And in order to do that, in situ means in place. Wherever that nest, wherever the female comes up, you just leave it there. You mark it maybe with so you still have to have some eyes out there.
Yeah.
But they're talking about drones and things of that nature. In order to do this, they have to do another NEPA study that they just did 10 years prior. And they want to do that and waste hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars of taxpayer money, which our taxes pay those salaries out there. And we should have a say in this.
Exactly. Yeah, that's wow.
So, and the second part is very compelling, specifically talks about free beach driving. Engage, lobby with the state of Texas to put limits on beach driving during nesting season. Seasonal closures or other protective measures. If anybody doesn't have time to read this, I understand, but go to the back and see who signed this. Kate Hatteras, superintendent. Trustees of the deep.
Where's that at? So when you sent me all of this, did you send me everything, or you just sent
No,
me
I
like
sent
the
you the whole
highlight?
document.
Okay.
I sent you the whole document, and it's highlighted.
Okay.
Specifically.
Okay. Cool.
But it has the park employees at that time. National Fish and Wildlife Foundation, Michelle Pico, she's one of the trustees on Deepwater Horizon. Barbara Schroeder, one of the trustees on Deepwater Horizon. Dave Halleck, superintendent of North Carolina, Cape Hatteras.
When you're saying this about those names, is that information on there as well, or is this stuff that you know?
No, this is on the document itself.
No, that they're associated to the Deepwater Horizon.
No, but you can Google their names.
Okay, if we can get that information on there, like point out, hey, pay attention to this name, pay attention to this name, so that way people can understand, because when you're part of a board, you're part of that board to protect whatever entity you're part of. Like, that's the city of Corpus Christi is supposed to be here to protect us, and they're not doing it. They're selling us out to big companies that are coming in, but they're pulling the wool over your eyes, guys. And that's gonna be a whole nother can of worms that we can open up. But right now, I'm trying to stay focused. I'm upset, guys, and if I'm upset, y'all should be upset. I can't imagine where you are at right now, seeing and being able to have.
I am so frustrated with the Park Service. I could just shake them. It just drives me crazy. It's shameful.
And here's the thing too, like we've heard that this new superintendent of the park, who's never seen a park or the beach or anything like that, is new to the area, has really not an inkling idea of what the hell.
Well, let's talk about Mr. Bruneman. And I want to make sure everybody understands, I am not blaming Eric Bruneman for this. He is following orders. He is doing what other people are telling him to do. The part is, he's a hatchet man for the park. Let's go back to 2002. I was parking the condo was.
I heard that he had shut down another
Well, anyway,
park.
a program where the condo program, and I'll think of it in a minute. It's a California coastal area, and the condor is also one of the 8 most endangered species in the world. He said, oh no, they get too much money. We're going to do a reduction of 25%. He's done this 3 times. So he didn't get rid of the program, but he slashed it so much and outsourced it to a friend's group. The program still exists, but the park really doesn't have a whole lot to do with it. So that's one slash. The next one, he goes to Badlands National Park. And I'm not promoting it, I'm just pointing it out. The person in management there, Brian Kenner, he wrote a book about Eric Bruneman, and on page 312, and I sent you all of that, it specifically outlines what Eric did to his black-footed ferret program, which is another endangered species. There's 8 of them. So the Condor, Eric dismantled Badlands, he dismantled the Black-footed Ferret program, and then now he's here dismantling the Kemp's Ridley program. Fish and Wildlife put out last year 8 of the most endangered species on our planet. Those 3. He has destroyed 3 of those already. He's very good at his job, I have to say that. I give him credit for that. But it's no way to treat our community and be non-transparent with our taxpayers, pay their salaries and pay for that park. We should have say in it.
Exactly. So what's going to happen if he gets his way and they slash the monies that should be going to the turtle program, which they've already done with the VP, blocking those funds. So she's already running on, funds that aren't there anymore. And then now they want to slash more funding. What happens when they slash that funding? Where does that funding go?
To the park. What
So
they're
it's going to
doing
go back from actually being used to protect the species to their payroll.
to be used how he feels fit in the park. So right now where we sit, the whole point was to dismantle the sea turtle program, because it was a separate, had their own budget, congressional allocation money. She was able to write proposals for grant money to bring in extra. In fact, from 1993 to 2019, before Mr. Bruneman got here, she raised over $14 million for her program by doing this. Some of that was Deepwater Horizon. But for them to say in Dale Rankin's Alan Moon article of August the 23rd this year, just a couple of weeks ago, the program is financially unsustainable, it's not true. It was always rock solid finances. They are the ones making it unsustainable by, I sent a PowerPoint to you, returning grant money, not allowing the staff or Donna to apply for funds other than the Kemp Ridleys, not to apply for grant money to supplement employees' work schedule. The hatchery release program, their excuse is, there's too many people, there's a safety liability issue. So they require an ambulance.
So real quick, how many people, for how many years have y'all been doing this? How many people have gotten hurt?
0 that I know of. It's at 6:45 in the morning, the coolest part of the day in that summer.
Yeah. So, okay, that answers that question,
Yeah.
where, this is an outsider just asking
Sure.
a question. And these are the questions that everybody else is gonna ask too, because how are they coming up with this number? Do they have accidents, somebody who's actually got hurt, or how many? 0. So that question's null and void. If she has come up with all this money, doing the right thing to protect one of our world's treasures, basically, is what it's boiling down to. And she's doing all of this, everything is going up. How are they trying to say that it's not? What proof, other than, of course, government greedy money kind of deal, is what the way I can politely put it. I'm trying to see where they're coming from, other than big businesses out of Florida wanting to privatize the land here, so that way they can start, nobody's on there, so let's sell the land since nobody ever uses it and actually build.
See, there's all possibilities,
Mhm.
all possibilities. You had Elon Musk, it's already ruined Boca Chica with SpaceX, but that's a different story. If you make it a wildlife refuge, that's possible, that could flow over into that. I'm gonna say something right now that I want everybody to understand. This is not a political issue. It is not. Both parties, I don't care if you're independent, Republican, Democrat, whoever it is. This is our problem, and it needs to be fixed locally. This regards beach access and the possible extinction of a species. And they work hand in hand. So having said that, I don't want to step on anybody's toes on that. I'm just here to tell you the truth. Back to the funding. In Dale's article, the park specifically says financially sustainable. They don't offer any proof in any of their articles that have been written about them. Every time we try to, our group turns around and tries to get somebody interviewed, talk about it, they want proof. They want proof. Well, I say what's fair is fair.
Yeah.
You need to have them come up, how is it, what has changed that you need to do another NEPA study to be able to leave this in situ and possibly take our beach access away? Tell me what it is. But they don't have to say anything. It's very frustrating to say the least. Anyway, anybody last March, did you go to the Texas State Aquarium where they had a
Yeah. Oh, yes. I recorded that.
Yes.
And again, too, they could not answer
They
a
wouldn't.
single question we asked them. And it's on there, guys. Like I recorded the whole event. Anybody I went up there and talked to, the guys that I talked to afterwards, put on real quick. 2020,
Ms. Boone came in immediately to review, started sending money back, canceling grants, limiting the amount of employees that are, and then hiring more part-timers and eliminating volunteers, bringing up the cost that comes out of the budget. It's mismanagement.
That's okay. Wow. So that's where it all comes to light right there. You know, they have somebody come in that doesn't know what the hell.
Well, this is what he does. This is, he like Brian, he is actually helping us, because he was a park employee, and he knows how the park works. And he's a big advocate for Donna, and he doesn't understand any of the beach access, but he said, that's fine, you know. Texas is a different state, you know, but he's advocating for it. But he said, this is what Eric does. He said, his funds, it just disappeared. It's because they use them up in this way, an ambulance, at the sea turtle releases, comes out of the budget. 3 times as many employees, instead of 16 employees, you got 48 employees. They're costing the budget that comes out of the sea turtle division.
So right there, that okay, that's like when they were reference kind of deal, the deal with Bob Hall Pier. They got allotted all this money that was strictly for the pier, but are they using it for the pier? No, they're using it over here on something else.
Exactly.
So what and who can we talk to also raise the alarm there, because they're obviously using allocated funds that aren't supposed to be there. Like
that's the hard, we can't get an answer to that. And we've talked to Senator Cornyn, has been helpful through his people. The Park Service won't answer our question. Specifically the question is, can congressional budgeted money, mandatory money for a specific program be used elsewhere within other divisions? We cannot get a definitive answer on that. So Donna has been told she only can operate on base funding, which we assume is the congressional funding, the original funding, not any overtime. That's it. That's all she's going to get.
So they're trying to say like the one-time deal she got out of this, that's all they're allotting her, is that what you're saying?
Correct. They're slashing the budget on this.
So they're basically telling her, okay, once it's gone, you can't re-up, you can't do this. So
I'll tell you the truth, the funding part is kind of a mystery. I've read all different things, like after 2010, instead of Congress allocating a lot of to specific things, because they're busy with a lot of other stuff. I understand that, very important things. So they kind of left it up to the superintendent to be in charge of the budget. So it's very possible what the park is doing is legal, but is it right for our community, and is it right for the sea turtles? It can be challenged.
So, how did he get into that place? Was he assigned? Is this like a government position that he's holding, or was he voted in the park manager that is ruining this turtle program?
Oh, Eric Brenneman?
Yeah.
Well, he's been with the Park Service 38 years or so. He's up probably for retirement. And this might be his last gig for all I know. But in that time, he was in Guam He was in California, he was in Badlands, and he went to Guadalupe here in Texas. And I need to also say when in Badlands, with all the problems he caused up there with bison roundup and the Native Americans up there, he went from a GS-15 and was demoted to a GS-13. So that tells you something. He got in some sort of trouble up there. And they sent him to Guadalupe National Park here in Texas. After that is when he was reassigned to here. And all of a sudden, the axe came down. What caused it? The park just decided, we don't want this program anymore. It's too much money, too much cost, too much overhead.
But again, too, they are assuming that that was their money to begin with.
Yes.
So again, how did he get into that position? Like, is it, like I said, I know it's a federal park. So the employees that are there, are they federal workers that can only be done by federally employees?
Yes.
So how do you become a federal worker to take over that position? Like, is there any way Donna can apply to become a federal employee to run?
She is a federal employee. She works for the National Park Service.
So I'm just trying to figure a way how we can get somebody that actually knows what the hell they're doing with the park and the Turtle Bill in that position to ensure that this is survivable, to protect the species. I mean, yes, I love beef driving and all of that, but again, too, you know, it's to protect the species where all of us can have an input, which means beef driving is going to be necessary. And because, again, too, the thousands upon thousands upon thousands of beachgoers, tourists, fishermen, like the heavy fishermen, that support that program. None of us are paid, but we do it because we are doing the right thing.
Exactly.
So
And you don't know how much Donna always, and her staff talks about how fishermen are important, and birders and campers. It's all
Yes.
kind of like
beachcombers, the
fun,
birders, the
'Cause I'm an
guys
avid
that live behind the dunes,
Yeah,
and go over there,
exactly,
you
all
know,
that.
all of them are so, we're all so important, but again, too, she's the one in trouble because she's not getting the support from all of us guys. All of us have the ability to give her a helping hand, and she hasn't been getting it. So again, guys, we will
I'm
be
gonna-
posting up emails where we need to start raising hell because
You need to raise hell with the park, and you need to raise hell with U.S. Fish and Wildlife. There's 3 agencies basically, NOAA, National Oceanographic, any animals that are in the water. You have the park who is in, kind of oversees the endangered species. Then you have U.S. Fish and Wildlife who is in charge of land animals.
Right.
So when the turtle is in the water, it's NOAA. When it comes up on land, it's U.S. Fish and Wildlife. So they're kind of stuck in the middle too, and I know a lot of those people, and they're scratching their head. They don't like what's going on out there. In fact, the lady that was Donna's right on for 28 plus years, Cynthia Rubio, she left. And I commend her for leaving because of the toxic atmosphere that's out there. And maybe she can help more with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife because she went to U.S. Fish and Wildlife. I try to keep her out of the scene because I don't want to get in trouble for anything, you know, but she's a very, very nice lady, very knowledgeable about sea turtles. But again, that's a different story. Who do you need to raise hell with? Who I would beat their door down is Eric Bruner. Again, I don't blame him for what he's doing what's told, but he needs to be held accountable for what he's doing and not telling the truth. He's not doing that. That's not right. That Park Road 22 that takes you to the entrance gate, that was funded by Texas taxpayers, specifically back in the 1960s when that park was starting to come up. We should have say on that.
yes.
Absolutely. But it's so far gone right now. All I can advise y'all, and I'm going to say this with heavy heart, Donna needs your help. She has had her finger in the dike for you guys and sea turtle and conservation and our community for 44 years. She's tried to hold these people off. Well, they're too powerful. She's basically just a shy person, wants to do her research, will talk when has to talk, but she's a very, very nice lady, and she loves the beach access. She does not want to get rid of it. I mean, let's look at it logic. It wouldn't make sense. And her program would be gone. Patrolling and everything else. It makes no sense. But what the park's doing is wrong.
Here's another thing too that I want to bring up. I know years ago they did some kind of study to find out, like, if the park actually closed for one day, how much it would cost.
Yes.
Do you happen to have the last time that was done and what numbers those were? 'Cause I know it was astronomical. It was like,
I think I do, and if not, I know where to get them. I will say this, that there is a website you can go to, irma.gov, I believe, but I'll send you that link. And you can go down to our specific park and the days it's been closed. It has been closed probably 4 times as many times since Mr. Blumenman's been here. For
so
no
we
reason.
can actually research
Yes,
too
yes, you can.
prior closings to him taking over
Yes.
the park and how he's slowly just taking it day by day. So basically, this is the way they work it. They're going to take 1 inch to take that mile to take the whole stretch of each. And so that's very good information right there. But the part I was talking about was like
The budget,
the tourism, how much money the city loses every day that park is
I
closed.
talked to the visitors bureau years ago, probably in 2020, and I asked, is there some way that you can follow somebody's cell phone or something like that and find out how much bump you get during a sea turtle release as opposed to, not a sea turtle release?
Right.
And there wasn't at the time. And that's what the park is saying right now, because they do it on a yearly, not a month to month. You can do it month to month, but summer is the busiest time of the year, and you can't really say, well, look, we had a bump with hatchling releases, although the businessmen on the island and people on the island that have condos, rental houses, things, hotels, they could tell you how many more people are staying future releases. Like 25 releases, you could do the math. I mean, hypothetically, restaurants, grocery stores, alternate sightseeing like Texas State Aquarium,
Yeah.
all these other places that they go. Because prior to Mr. Brunerman being here, the Sea Turtle Science Program, they had their own Facebook page. And they would post on there. Donna could kind of predict within a week, 5 days. Okay, I think this is the window we're going to have one. Well, people would come down during that 5 days, stay here for 5 days.
Yep.
Now, it's not, she had to get rid of that, lost 72,000 followers.
Wow.
And the park, it's on the park website, okay? They did not announce it until 1 minute after midnight. The warning of it, because you have to buy a day pass in order to get into the park. So you have to get up at 12:01 to buy a park pass to get into the park, and you better get in line by 5:30 or you're gonna miss the release. I've got pictures of it, just cars lined up. It's
If you can forward me those pictures,
yeah.
that way we can show them, because that is funding that is directly associated to the turtle releases. But what they're talking about doing is shutting it down during the whole turtle season, not just those specific times of when turtles are expected to hatch. So that's what I'm talking about there. The point I'm talking about is they want to have this whole window closed. What is it, from March till September or something like that?
It's actually April 1st and
April all the way to when?
mid-June.
So,
Well, actually for releases, because that's the last nesting, you're correct. I would say mid-August, so 3 months of the year.
and that's right in the middle of the summertime.
Summertime.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so I was hearing something else, that it was March through September or August.
oh, that's for the 15-mile-an-hour reduction in speed limit. And that was a mitigating process having to do with that Fonzie in 2012.
Okay.
That was part of the mitigation between the park and the state of Texas. I have a letter from Jerry Patterson. He was the Texas GLO commissioner. And, which, you know, I know a lot of people, they don't like it, but in all reality, the first 5 miles, when you go from pavement and hit the beach and go down, it's very crowded down there. You need to slow it down anyway with kids and dogs and people crossing the road. They don't know any difference and they'll dart out in front of you. So I don't think a 15-mile-an-hour reduction during nesting season is, I think it's an easy compromise for everybody.
Especially in that area that you're
Yeah.
talking about, yes, I totally.
Even down to the four-wheel drive area.
Which is what, 11 miles, 10 miles? something
No,
like
it's
that?
like 5 miles down. But past that, you still have a lot of campers and day campers. And then you have people that, you know, don't have four-wheel or they, and sometimes you don't need a four-wheel, but a lot of times you do need a four-wheel.
Right.
And, I've heard from Nick that park rangers won't go beyond the 5 mile.
I've seen them further than that.
Yeah, in the past?
Yeah.
Or this year, or?
Oh, in the past,
Yeah.
but not
Recently.
not recently, no. But also too, I haven't been on the beach as much as I used to be. And even then too, like, you know, with human trafficking and all of that stuff, you know, trying to reach somebody to get somebody down there in the middle of the night,
No.
you're pulling teeth. Like, you know.
That's another thing was important for the patrollers. I don't know how many times people call in and say, I have a medical emergency. We can't help them physically, but we can call it in for them and get them help.
Right.
People stuck in the sand. Possible illegals down there that are in stress. They need help.
Yeah.
All kinds of drugs, packages, all of them.
Yes.
That's, but anyway, that, you know, kind of know that they're coming and you go, okay, well, I'm not gonna stress out about it. I'm sure the patrol will come by pretty soon. And they have radio and everything else that can help you out. But back to that, entrance fee that's required now.
So
None of that money goes to the program.
okay, let me back up real quick. So a regular park permit to get in the park is not valid the day they're releasing the turtles, is what you're saying?
For a one-day pass, you have to buy it at 12:01 to last a full 24 hours. You can't buy it at 10:30 the night before, because that's the previous day. So he made it difficult and said, no, you gotta buy it the next day for it to last the next day. In other words,
So that's only for the guys that aren't here regular, that they're just coming in
yeah,
for the turtles.
tourist or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, and they have to buy, a day pass.
So he really made it difficult and for anybody to pre-plan for this,
Correct.
to come in, and then the money that is obviously it's coming in because they're there for the turtles, not just for the park. That should be going to the turtles. Like,
It can't by law, park law.
well, okay, so by park law that they can't use that money because it's going for the turtles. Why is the turtle money going to the park?
That's a very good question. Very good question. A lot of questions not answered. Today, 4 years, 8 months later, we haven't received one answer. The only comment that the park made back in 2020 is, and this is Mr. Brunerman, he's been quoted in CC Caller Times and the National Park Traveler by Kirk Papansky. We are strengthening the program. Okay, how are you strengthening the program? Well, now all of a sudden, last month, City Council invited Mr. Burnham to speak. They finally admitted that it's not financially sustainable, and they have to cut the releases because of budget. So they're not making the program any better. They are dismantling it. They finally admitted that. And I can promise you and your viewers, and by 2029, unless they draw pressure and we all join the group, and I'm willing to help in any way, so is Nick, or people that work with me, we'd be happy to talk to anybody. You will lose beach access.
So when this video goes live, I will send you a link
Okay.
to your cell phone. That way you can share it to everybody you know. And what I need, I would like for y'all to participate, because these guys are going to ask a lot of questions. They're going to make a lot of comments. And for everybody that you know that has any kind of input to help these guys be able to Because I'm gonna try my best to. What happens when they ask me is I'm gonna turn around and ask you.
That's fine.
So if y'all are actually
Send them-
proactive with the video, see, the reason why I'm asking you to be proactive with the video, because the more, it's like Facebook posts.
Yeah.
The more time you come on it, the higher it stays up on that chain.
Got it.
So it's always on the top of the newsfeed.
Right.
But if they all go toward you, then the video is gonna go down.
Sure.
So if we want the more input that we can get, everybody that you know that is got input on there, and even if you answer it, have somebody else answer right behind you. Somebody else right behind you, because what it's going to do is it's going to keep it at the top of the news feed and keep it on people's attention, keep it on people's minds. And that way too, if somebody else has one question, somebody else has another, it can be answered right then and there. And I'm still going to be coming in and just, I answer everybody's comment. Everybody's comment, I try to go in and answer. And this is going to be our best way, because we're at 120,000 subscribers. But that's just subscribers. That's not the true number of people that actually watch the videos, that actually are proactive, that are going to be able to, hey, let me share this over, and you'll see how many times the video gets shared out
Right.
to get raised information. But every time they ask the question, they're going to ask it on there, which is going to go right to you, so that way y'all can help us get the information out there and keep it on the top of the news feed. That is the best way we really can help. Because again, I'm extremely busy here.
I know.
And when the comments come through, I'm going to do the best I can to get them over to you. But if you have the link, you can actually go in, once a day or something like that, answer all the questions.
I'd be happy to.
And everybody else, like I said, everybody bombard that video, because if it's getting up there, what's going to end up happening is it's going to be a wildfire. It takes that little spark, the wind's going to catch it, and then it's going to blow up to a big old flame. So if we want that big old flame, everybody, y'all too, share this video to all the social media networks and tell them that we are trying to protect the beaches here for the turtles and for ourselves. Because again, too, that's a huge stretch of beach. That here's going to be the thing too. You really got to take in consideration when it happens that they take the beach access away from us. What that is going to do is create a corridor for more human trafficking, more drug trafficking, more dangers that are going to be coming into our area, because then it's going to be virtually uninhabited. All of us fishermen that go down there, the bird watchers, the beachcombers, everybody, when we see somebody in distress or we see something going on illegally or whatever, we're making that phone call. We are helping the security of that beach.
Absolutely.
And if we don't, we're going to lose it. And what else are we going to lose after that? That's what scares me. Is because right now there's a ton of people out there that are helping, but then there's that dark form that's out there that's trying to pick apart
and
corpus
to
a
your
little
point,
bit at a
I've
time.
seen articles where Florida is very, very interested in this property out there.
Mhm. They want to do what they have in Florida
Sure.
over here. Yeah.
And, okay, that's their business, but it's up to us
Yep.
to protect that beach. It was made for recreation, for the people, and that's the way Texas, actually Senator Robert wanted it back in the 1960s, and it was signed off by President Johnson. But anyway, that's what it should be. And in very simplistic terms, I'm going to say something real quick, the correlation between the program and the beach access, very simply, and it wouldn't surprise me. All it's going to take is one turtle getting run over. And I guarantee the superintendent and the management out there at that park, not Donna, they will start crying and saying, oh my God, we got to shut the beaches down now. Look what just happened. Now, that's reason to shut it down.
Yeah.
But
again, too,
so
morons are on the street every day, and you can only read so much. And just like you don't want a human life being extinguished by an idiot driver, but again, you cannot control that. But listen to what she's saying. It only takes that one moron to kill a turtle, whether it's a big one or a small one, and for it to come back on us tenfold, even though the 99% of us are there to protect the beach.
and again, they have to do scientific study on this, but that would be implemented into their study and definitely documented. And again, all the time that I've lived here almost all my life, I've heard of some incidents at South Padre,
Yeah.
but they have hotels and motels and it's built up. we're not built up, and I know the fishermen and the birders and everybody else are very careful out there driving. You have a few knuckleheads, you know, that don't obey the rules, but, the program works that way. The controllers kept it safe for the turtles and for beach access. You guys help us out, and all we're asking is for your help now.
We are going to do it, guys. But again, post your comments, your concerns, share your stories too of how you've participated in an event like that with the Turtle Patrol or seeing something like that. Post your memories too of on the beach and everything. Because the reason why I'm asking you to do that, guys, is because soon we're about to lose that if we don't stand up and fight for it right now. And actually, this has been going on for over 4 years. I remember several years ago with it, I was at that meeting where they wouldn't answer a single question for us. They kept, oh, well, look at this, and well, look at this, but they didn't answer a single question for us. It's in the channel, guys. Y'all can see when we did that. But again, we're gonna have the email up here for y'all to blow up, let them know we're not okay with this, and also too, whatever contacts we have that we need to start a light a fire up under, please send it to me. I will post it, and we can get that done. But
Stop
again,
at the park entrance and go visit Mr. Boom and say, hey, I'd like to have a conversation with you. You know, what's going on here? He won't open his door, but I invite you to try. At least, we gotta try.
yeah. Well, if y'all do send emails, guys, be sure to do a screenshot and CC us in there, Team Hard Life with the number 1 at gmail.com. So that way we can keep a kind of running tally of who's actually helping do this. So that way they don't say, hey man, y'all had all these people say this and not a single email go through. They can say that. But again, too, if we can have this proof there, this will ensure that we have a fighting chance at keeping our beaches open, guys. This is something that we've been fighting for decades now, and they are this close. They are real close to taking it away from us, guys. So again, Jan, I am sorry I didn't catch up on you earlier this morning, but I do appreciate you coming back and coming talk with us here. Is there anything else that we should be aware of? Because again, it's a lot of information, and I'm not trying to rush you at all. I want it all out there. Any thoughts?
I think my main thought is the review. It is the official playbook. The review I told you is 53 pages.
Yeah.
It's the official playbook. 10 years. We're at year 5. I guarantee the next 5, everything will be under radar. Slipped under the rug the way they're going to do it.
Yeah.
I could tell you some horror stories, but I can't. So believe me, don't believe me, you know, but we also said they were going to dismantle the sea turtle program, and nobody believed us. And it's happening. We're probably within 5 days of the merger at that time. I don't know what's going to happen with Dr. Shaver. That is her decision, what she wants to do. Keep with whatever job they offer, you know. I don't know.
Wow.
So it's a tremendous loss for our community, and it's unfortunate that we couldn't help before this, but at least we're still trying. We're not going to give up on that part. That's our part.
Right. So that Facebook group that she had, is she still not allowed to post on there, or?
No, they did away with her page. She wasn't allowed it. She had, it's not there. And her Instagram account, she got rid of that.
So it was her account? Or
No, it was
with
for the parks, but under her division, because she is a separate entity within.
I was gonna say, because once it's on Facebook, literally, you can almost keep finding it unless it's deleted.
You can find it and see some of the old posts, but there's no new posts. But again, she works for the government and she has to do what they tell her. Again, right or wrong, she did what they asked and they took it down. But they're making it extremely hard for the public, not only to learn what's going on out there, but I know I volunteered at hatchling releases, and the smiles on the little kids' faces when the little turtles would come along. It was just.
I'll be right with y'all, guys.
It was just upbeat and definitely working. But these majestic docile creatures that are less than, they don't weigh possibly 100 pounds, maybe less. They're the smallest, most endangered species, and they need our help. We need your help, our group. And our group is called Sea Turtle Advocates for Conservation and Education. STACY is the acronym. We have a lawyer, we have a doctor, we have the city council, we have volunteers, and it's not a big group, but if we can all join forces, we might be able to help save at least beach access. I don't know about the program. We could reverse it with enough support, possibly.
Well, guys, y'all hear it. This ain't good news, but it is a way for us to save a program that desperately needs our help. So again, guys, y'all stay tuned. Keep sharing those stories, those comments, questions, and again, too, let's light this fire and get it going for sure. So,
and I know it's late in the conversation, but I think it's important to bring up one thing about how the park is seeing the financial instability of the program. The park has refused to work on UTVs. They've been sitting there resting. No maintenance, no oil changes, all last year. We were without UTVs, had to go out and rent vehicles. That's another budget crunch. And that's actually, I wrote the Office of Inspector General on that. Whether they look into it or not, I don't know, but that's mismanagement, big time.
wow.
I heard they can't keep a mechanic, probably because of the toxic atmosphere, but also, and I know you're in a rush, I heard one person was helping during the off time. They're a janitor out there, but have mechanical skills. So when she's not doing janitor duty, she goes out there and at least changes oil and some of the vehicles. And that's about all they did.
Well, Jan, wow, that
It's a lot of information.
again too, and if later, if you think of anything that you'd like to further talk about this, or maybe a couple of weeks from now, do another up-to-date of what's going
Yeah, if I
on.
find out what's
changes,
going on.
please reach out to me. You got my number, and that way we can keep everybody up to speed, because again too, we haven't heard nothing since that Texas Aquarium deal.
Yep.
We've been in the dark the whole time. So if you're on the front line, you have my number. Please keep me in the loop.
And also, I'm willing to talk to anybody. Message me, go through Albert. I will answer any question the best I can. And I can guarantee, we've been from the bottom of the basement of employees all the way up to President of the United States. I've been to, and when I say I mean Stacy, our group, not me. But we have talked to every single person. Whatever party, both sides, they won't get involved in it. We're gonna have to handle it on our own, right here on our own turf. We're gonna have to.
Well, I have an idea. I'll tell you here in just a minute.
Okay.
But again, guys, post your comments, post your stories and all of that, and they will be there to give us a helping hand with any knowledge that we did not cover on the video. So again, Jan, thank you very much for it. And Donna, keep up the good fight.
I'd like to thank you and your followers.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's
Nick,
get this story up.
Nick at Breakaway, thank you for connecting us with this. But again, we'll as more information comes through, we're in the loop now. Keep us there. We'll help you any way we can.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. You have a blessed day.
You too.